Everything I've ever heard about Francis Ngannou has been that he's a good guy. But like I said, money, expectations of money, and expectations of your hard work being paid off, it can make people do some wild stuff. If it is true, doesn't matter who you are, you shouldn't touch him.
My first news article for today, we got Dana White revealing some interesting stuff about Francis Ngannou and his behavior in the UFC offices. He called Francis, and I quote, a bad guy, and told two different stories where one, Francis came in and demanded a private plane to Paris before his first fight with Stipe. And then he also told a story of when Francis physically put his hands on Dana White when he was upset about not getting the 50K bonus. Do you think this is just Dana White embellishment, or do you think this is genuinely what happened?
I don't know, man. Look, everything I've ever heard about Francis Ngannou has been that he's a good guy. I will say this though, is that money and hardships or expectations based on your hard work and your talent, it can make people do wild shit. Fighters have like I did all the hard work. I got a knockout. Doesn't mean you're gonna get the 50K. I think in the heavyweight division, like they expected, I think more so because they're heavyweights. Heavyweights get the Dana White privilege, man, more so than anybody. It's wild. And I've said this forever. I think it's so weird to me that if you go through and I think you look at all the times fighters that had they were the main event or the co-main event and they didn't perform well and they still got the bonus, and you saw like the prelim fighters do like a highlight reel knockout or hit a flying submission or hit some fantastic transition to a submission, and they didn't get the bonus. I mean, they probably got bonused up at home, but they didn't get the official bonus.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time, man. It happens all the time. So, yeah, it's why look. I don't know. I only know Francis through passing. Said hi to him, talked to him a little bit, like literally, like maybe like in all through my years of in passing with him, I've talked to him for maybe 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So I really don't have much to say. Everybody I've ever talked to them about him, they said he's great. He's fantastic, great guy, super nice guy. Everyone that over at Extreme Tours that ever worked with him said he's fantastic. Eric Nixick, his coach, fantastic. I mean, everybody. Big John's a huge fan of Francis Ngannou. So he's a fantastic person. But like I said, money, expectations of money, and expectations of your hard work being paid off, it can make people do some wild stuff. Make people do wild stuff. They expect, I put in all this work, I did all this. Well, everyone else does too. I mean, you expect the 50K and you don't get it. Money drives people nuts, man. It's very unfortunate that we put money on such a high pedestal. I never have. I grew up poor, and I just expected that I'll always be poor. I've been able to do pretty well for myself. It's just a matter of like I don't put money as a priority. I never have. And I can't live my life that way. Other people can. And I respect them for it. They do what they want. I don't know if that's the situation, but look, if it is true, doesn't matter who you are, you shouldn't touch him. You shouldn't touch Dana White. I don't care if it was Lorenzo Fertitta. I don't care if it was anybody. I don't care if it was Sean Shelby. I don't care if it was the ref down the hall. You shouldn't touch him. Just, if you can't do it with your words, you can't say, like, I went through a life of fighting in the streets, fighting, all the time. I lost a lot of things because of my temper, because of my attitude, because of things that I've said, things that I've done, and being young and dumb, it definitely cost me. I think in this situation, Francis, in the heated moment, just like, hey man, like I want some respect put on my name in this promotion. And I'm sorry, but as a promoter, you're probably not going to get it. If you're as a fighter, you're not going to get it from the promoter. His job is to focus on the fights in terms of promoting the fights. Your job is to go out there and win. Let everything else settle itself. So I hope I don't know. If it's not true, then I mean, Francis can come back and fire back. But Francis hasn't said anything about it. It's been a couple days. So it leads me to believe that it's probably true.